Chepstow! Just there. I mean, all of this section, that was pretty quick. Let's try that again. If we can just have this bit, and we'll go, good afternoon, Chepstow! Good afternoon, Chepstow! Excellent. Well, thank you for the cheap seats. Excellent. Thank you very much. We are Bolo. This is our weapons demonstration. We're going to take you through quite a lot of the medieval weapons, and towards the end, we'll actually show you some of the sharp ones and a bit of cutting as well. You could just be the other side of the, sorry. Thank you very much. I know it doesn't make a lot of difference now you've got flags in your face, but you know, just for reassurance. So, a lot of the time, if people come to the Black Dog there, and there's a whole range of weapons put out, people say, you know, with the hand weapons, what's the best weapon? You know, well, they'd all kill you. You know, how much more dead do you want the other person to be? But one-on-one, one of the very best weapons of all is a quarterstaff. Excellent thing, nice and easy, anybody can have one. You can make your own, they're very cheap, very common. They grow on trees, literally, and they are really useful. If you ever see a quarterstaff in a film, it's always Little John and Robin Hood on a log, isn't it? And they're holding it in the middle like that, and that's fine. Using both ends, like a canoe, using both ends, it's really good, yeah. Yes, off you.
One around.
Oh, yes. The thing is with that, I've got about the same reach as she has, so I can hit her on. So although she's got both ends and it's versatile, doesn't give her a great advantage, but she's holding it in the middle, she's holding it halfway in half. So this is known as half-staffing. But it's a quarterstaff. You hold a quarter of it, and suddenly my end doesn't look quite as confident because a small movement with the hands is a large movement at the other end. Obviously, you can swing it around like a back strike, and that's incredibly powerful. The very dangerous strike, though, is the thrust. All of that power, all of the body weight into one place. This one's shod, so it's got a ring of metal around both ends, just like the end of a walking stick or something like that. And that power with that will burst through ribs, will stove in heads, no problem at all. It is a very useful weapon. Some of us do HEMA, so we do historical European martial arts. So we fight with blunt swords, full on. And we've got stab-proof vests and helmets with overlays and like fencing masks and all the rest of it. And essentially you can fight full on with a blunt sword. There is no level of protection that we can wear that will protect us from a quarterstaff. They are that dangerous. And of course, if you go one step on, you put a great big blade on top of a quarterstaff, and you've got yourself a spear. And a spear is the #1 tool of the whole medieval period. It gives you tremendous, you know, all the way through from the Viking sections, all the way through to the 16th century. Knights in armour, if they were going to fight on foot, the first thing they do is cut down the lance, use it as a spear, before any other weapon. Just because you can't wave them around in the sunlight and they go ching in the sun. They're cheap, you're only buying a little bit of metal, and the wood's nice and cheap. They show you what kind of advantage we've got. We have here 6'4" of enormous Norman Saxon knight. He's using a hand and a half sword, one-handed. He's not just standing close to you, he really is that tall. And 5'1" and a tiny bit in her stocking feet, defending herself with all the reach of a spear. And as long as she can move, she's got probably the advantage. Thrusting low, trying to thrust around, making him defend with the shield. The shield will try and move it out of the way. If he gets past it, of course, just because it's a spear, doesn't mean you can't use the other end like you would with the quarterstaff.
I might have in trouble.
Yeah. But you're not working just by yourself. If you're one of the people with the spear, you can work in combination. And now the tactics change. Instead of trying to keep him out of the way, you're trying to get rid of his shield, trying to get past it. Displace the shield out of the way so the other person can thrust in. And of course, apparently the damage is overacting. Reason we've had a good think about that. I think some of our people had to think about this, and they were practicing yesterday for this bit with a sharp spear, you know, as you do. And the reason you wouldn't thrust directly at the shield all the time, and obviously we've got to be a little bit careful here. This is a sharp spear. And you can hold it nice and still. It worked there. You hold on to that. We haven't done this bit before. There we go. And if you've got a sharp spear, you will actually thrust and it starts to get stuck in. And of course, then it gets a bit tricky. So maybe you don't want to thrust. If he gets that stuck in, he can displace and come round and hit you. So you're going to be thrusting around it. It's a fantastic weapon, though. You'll see if you ever go to a Viking or Dark Ages reenactment, everybody's in the shield wall and everybody's got swords, and there's like one lowly new guy at the end going, oh, I can only afford a spear. It's completely the opposite way around. The entire army would have had spears and maybe one guy in the middle with a sword. Completely different. If we go on from there, it gets slightly more complicated. Jump through the centuries. These are poleaxes. This is poleaxe as in pole as in head, not as in big stick. You know, remember the pole tax, some of you? You were not taxed on how many big sticks you had. Taxed on your head. There's a poleaxe, they've got a hammer side, pole hammer. They've got the spike on the top, the spear on the top. And in my case, I've got a crow's beak, a bec de corbin, and Miranda there has got a axe, a sharp axe. And these are the hardest hitting weapons of the entire medieval period. You don't hold them out like that because it's a bit clumpy. You steer them, it's a bit like canoeing. And they are surprisingly fast and surprisingly agile. Two main guards, guard the hash, guard the queue, and then you can do all sorts of things. What you're going to do. What you're going to do. Space up there, thrust to the face. Go on then, what you're going to do. I can come over here, knock that out the way, thrust in here. I can come over the top, block there. Now if she blocks there, all I do is pull thrust. Is that all right? Were you worried? They are very good. If somebody comes over the... Oh yeah, if the way to get around that actually is if I pull, she lets go, and then I've got to try and find a way to come back. If she does thrust high to my face, I can block up there, come in here, grab her knee, and then and then hop. You can pull them round the neck. There are lots of guards where you actually kind of step. We won't do it because you get one of these in the face. That's not very good. They are really useful. The hammers will smash armour. Will dent it in, will literally crack breastplates, stove in heads. The spikes, the crow's beaks are used for finishing people off. Richard III, body under the car park, he's got a hole in his head, a diamond-shaped hole in his head, probably caused by something exactly like this, to finish them off. They are really useful, surprisingly fast, agile weapons. Thank you very much. Mr. Miranda, everybody. Smaller version of these, we've got lots of percussion weapons here, so we make up some shields. Now, we used to go at this fairly hard, we thought, and one of these shields, which is made up of steel, and we've got ½ an inch of ply behind it, because we're just going to break it, so we want them to last a long time, you know. We used to get through one of them a season. Now, on a good season, we get through about ½ a dozen, because people have stepped up the going for it. So, percussion weapons, if you hit a shield with a sword, it doesn't really do anything, to be quite honest. Swords are light. Swords weigh a couple of £3 at the most, and it makes a noise. You know, they're not being pushed back at all, they're not doing anything, it just makes a noise, it's not going to do anything to the shield. But if you have a percussion weapon, in this case a mace, about the same weight, but all the weight's at one end. And now it's going to start to stove in, especially on armour, the elbows, the shoulders. What? With that, all right. Okay. And then he's got an axe there. Axe is used a lot by the archers. Obviously, most of the time you're not going to fight, so you do want to chop wood quite a lot. And you can see there's a lot more impact. Axes are great. You can hook over the top, pull that out the way, in the face of your whatever else you want to stab them in the face with. Really useful tools. Smaller version of the poleaxe, the war hammer. Again, the hammer for denting the armour. Again, elbows, shoulders, stop the arms articulating, bash the helmets in. And then, when you come to finish them off, you can put... That's right. Yeah. Really got to know where his arm is at that bit, because they do go straight through armour. Don't start off with the crow's beak. You hit them and get attacked, so it's not a... Oh, here we go then.
Nah, I've got a better idea.
Right. This... No, right, just for a second. Now, this is just not actually going to use this one. This is really... This is a morning star. So mace, spiky ball on the stick, chain, morning star, spiky ball on the chain on the stick. If you see somebody using this, it will be a wooden one sprayed up to look like metal. The problem is you can't pull... You can't pull the blow. If you stop, because his shield's not there or whatever, this is going to carry on going. And this is a genuine one. If you just grab the end of that. That's right, just reach out. Ooh, very well done. It's getting shaky though, isn't it? Genuinely a bit heavy. Yeah, so we won't use it.
That's fine. But it was my birthday last week.
Yeah, go on. You have a go. We got the first aid kit, it'll be fine. I think I'm right-handed. He's come back for war.
Spit up faster.
Probably enough. That is incredible. Very well done. Probably they were used off horseback, to be quite honest. As you're riding along, obviously you can do that. You're not going to get the impact in the arms, and you're through. If you miss, you're already gone past them. So probably used more on horseback than for shooting. What have we got now? It's off you.